What's happening, guys? Welcome back to Vertical Football. Welcome back to another episode of the Manchester United Fans Corner. I'm your old Shego. And guys, it's great to have you with us. Great to have you with us every single time. So we are about to discuss Manchester United. And on today's episode, we are discussing one of the latest transfer news that we just saw. But because of how exciting the boy is, I just felt it was nice that let's discuss it, let's analyze it, whether the transfer news is true or not. You know, there have been reports about that Man United has made initial contact with the agent of Mateus Mane, the 18-year-old boy at Wolves. I watched the guy against us when we played, and I was like, I think this season. So I watched him and I was like, I noticed the name. Let me just put it that way. I remember the name, and when I saw the report, I was like, okay, let's do a deep analysis on the boy. And I think the premise we'll be moving with in this analysis is the fact that the boy is just 18. So obviously he's not going to be a starter for United, but it's going to be one of those boys that walks into the squad, the first team squad, and try to develop with the game, the games that are given to him. He has played a couple of games for Wolves in the Premier League this season. So I think he has 2 goals also already this season in the Premier League. So it's kind of those kind of players that you expect that if United actually goes for him and gets him, if the news is true, it's someone that will be in the squad, but we have the those chances. And maybe next season with the European games, you will have that chance. So guys, let's quickly jump into what Mateus Mane what he entails, right? What are his qualities? What are the profiles? Where are the areas in his game that are very, very sharp? What are the prospects? Because all we are doing is futuristic. These are the prospects he has. This is what he can develop to. And then we'll talk about the areas of his game that he also needs to improve upon us at that young age of 18 years. So guys, let's jump right into it. I think the first things you can obviously see when you look at Mateus Mane, the first one is the quick feet. The guy has quick feet. And I think this is a staple of the kind of Sir Ferguson wingers, right? Sir Ferguson wingers, in terms of they have the quick feet. And at certain point when I was watching him and trying to analyze him, even though I know, yes, it's not clear, it's not visible, and they are not related. Those players are not related in terms of profile. But I felt a certain way of looking at Ashley Young in a way. But yes, they're not clear. It's not like Ashley Young, don't get me wrong, please. But I just felt that at certain moment, just saw some things in his game. I was like, this makes me to remember a little bit of Ashley Young. And I will explain deeply. First of all, was even the movement, a little bit of the movement, and also his ability to kick the ball, his ability on the ball. Like, this makes me to remember a little bit of Ashley Young. But obviously, it's not exactly like Ashley Young, but it made me to remember. So the quick fixes are there. And I think I remember one interview with René Molliston, another Sir Ferguson, where he said United wants attackers that have quick feet. And I think that's something in his game, very, very quick feet. I think secondly is the guy is dynamic. I think when you look at him, he can play on both sides, the left wing, the right wing. The guy can even play as, in the center. So what I saw about him is that all the areas behind the striker, the guy can actually function there. The left, the right, and the central or the attacking midfield role, depending on what kind of game you want to have, the kind of opponent you are playing against, and how you want to hold the opponent, the guy can do that. And even in situations where you start him on the wing, because of the guy can play in every way, it's easy for him to move in centrally, either from the right inside, either from the left inside. I think when you look at the way football is going to, and the way tactics is moving to, the way managers wanting to create 3 number 10s or managers wanting to have a box midfield, right? So they want to do that sometimes with the fact that a winger can move in, right? And the fullback can operate out wide. Progressive fullback can operate out wide. So the guy has the fact that he can play on both sides. And it's 1v1, as I said, quick feet. So with quick feet comes the ability of him to have those close distance dribble, right? Quick dribbles, right? Put it either in between your legs or by your side and move. And I think to me, that's like a classic kind of United attacker, in the sense of those quick feet, those the dynamism. The guy is not faced wanting to meet people 1v1, wanting to do something 1v1. I think that's nice. And that kind of brave nature, that kind of audacious confidence is needed, on the wings is needed in to be a Man United player, to be a Man United attacker. So I think that is good about him. Now the second thing also, as I've said, that made me to just look at a little bit, reminded me a little bit of Ashley Young, is that this guy, and I feel this guy really has a lot, but this guy has a good kicking technique. Not even kicking. This guy has good passing technique, like the way he passes the ball, the way he kicks the ball, and not just alone with his right leg alone, but the fact that his left leg is very decent. When I mean not decent now, very decent. His predominant foot is right, but his left is also very decent. And with the technique he plays the ball, I'm like, there is something there. There is something there. I think, yes, when you look at, I think two goals in the Premier League so far this season, but I look at it that if this is a guy that can work and train more on his kicking ability, this can be a very high volume scoring winger or high volume scoring attacker for Manchester United if they eventually get him. Because the way he passes, the way he touches the ball, the way he crosses the ball from the left, from the right, the way the impact on the ball, I'm like, I love that. Even he's shooting at goal, the way he tries to put it to the side, I'm like, there's something here. There's really something here. And either it's up, either it's down, he has it, either it's by the post, the distance, the short distance by the post, he has it. The way he kicks the ball, for me, was something that stood out the moment I watched him. And also I believe that if he can work on it, if he can develop that skill and get better on it, he'll really score a lot of goals, because that is a very, very unique skill. So as I've said, the guy can play inside, he can play outside, and it's a manager's dream. As I've said earlier, football tactics is going in such certain places where managers need not just out wide wingers, but they also need people that can move in. Now, I think also, let's talk about also the fact that, the guy is high energy. And one of the things about this high energy nature is the fact that he will be very, very good in pressing. And I think that's what the modern football today, you want to train your attackers to be very good in the front foot press. You want to train them to be very good in the counter pressing situations. So I think because of the high energy and his willingness to, to push forward, the physique is decent, to push forward, so I think it's someone that you naturally just look at it and say, as a manager, we need to work on him. I saw some clips, I was like, oh, okay. The pressing might not be that bad, but obviously it's not yet at the highest level. And I believe that the manager would want to work with him to make his pressing much more better. I think that would be very, very good. Then obviously, one thing I liked about that's Mateus Mane is the fact that obviously you can see his abilities on a transition play, because, high speed, 1v1, the braveness to take people on, the close dribbles and everything. You can see that on a transition kind of side. But also, I also see the qualities also of the boy, even when he's playing against a low block or when he's playing in a congested area. Because of the close control and everything, I really like that about him. Even though, I have to say, which I will also say in detail as we go on, sometimes it takes a lot more time on the ball. Sometimes it depends so much on his skill. Sometimes it depends so much on strength, which we'll discuss as we move on. But I just feel that it's not just a winger or a forward or an attacker that is just limited in transition moments. That their role doesn't really show when their body's behind them, right? So it's someone that's very good in transition moments. It's someone that has also very good prospects when their body's behind him. He can do that managing. He can also be someone that can also force defenders to commit a foul. And I think these are certain things that obviously will develop in his game as we move on. Really, as we move on. So I think also fluidity in his attack. Then his defensive work rate, I think, was decent. I saw the start of the defensive work rate so far in the Premier League, and I'm like, yeah, it's already decent. But I think as a young guy, he needs to work more on it in terms of be more defensive, so be more defensively solid. Definitely that kind of high flying kind of player. The focus is always on the attacking. But when I saw the start, I'm like, yeah, I think this is decent. Is decent statistics. When I saw some defensive actions of his, I was like, wow, this is nice. But I think he has to improve on it. Obviously, he has to be very, very defensively solid to help his team, because every player especially in today's football, you need to both be attackingly strong and also defensive strong. Then also, I think the guy has very good positional awareness in the fact of I see that he understands whenever you put him either on the left, the right, or the center, the guy understands what is needed of him in that position. And I think the way sometimes the decisions he takes when it's out left, you say, okay, I understand that he knows what is expected of him out left. When he's outright, he understands what is expected of him outright. When even he's center, he understands what is expected of him central. And that good awareness to understand the positions you have to take tactically, but also the things you need to do. For example, centrally, he knows, and I think centrally, he's trying there in terms of he needs to release the ball much better. But when he's central, you can see that he releases the ball a lot more quicker than when it's out in the wings, right? But I think see centrally, they see a lot of holding, right? See a lot of holding on the ball. But I just feel that he understands, that the positions he is and what is expected of him. Even though in everything summary, he still needs to release the ball quicker than he does. Don't rely too much on your strength. Don't rely too much on your skill. And I think that's what I'll talk about. The part that he needs to improve upon. He needs to release the ball quicker, because I saw the start of the dispossessed he has had so far this season, and I'm like, you'll be dispossessed a lot when teams know you want to hold on to the ball. Sometimes you have to just release it quickly, right? And I think not even sometimes now, many times for him, release it quickly. When you're in certain zones where there could be danger zones, don't try to hold it so much. Don't try to depend so much on your skill. Sometimes release it. And I think he needs to also play with the fullbacks. He needs to play with his fellow players even when he's in the hole. Left, play with your left back. Right, play with your right back. You understand? Central, play with other players around you. So I think he needs to release the ball quickly. I think that's something that really I saw about his game. Sometimes there are better options in passing to a teammate that he should have taken, but he decided to hold on to the ball and want to use his skill to maneuver. And sometimes he did maneuver, but the fact is you cannot maneuver all the time, right? And also the risk of injuries, because when you hold on to the ball, the way you hold on to the ball, you see sometimes you get kicked. You get kicked many times, and it could just even result to a lot of injuries as the career moves on. So you have to just avoid those things and be really smart in terms of releasing the ball quickly and doing what you have to do. I like his crossings from the right, from the left, and that's I believe he needs to work on technique much better, because the way he comes in contact with the ball is really, really exciting. I like the way when I see the way the feet touches the ball. I like that too. And I think constant training of it will really make him very, very effective in the crosses. And I think that would just be a proper guy. That's why he can take you to the byline. He has a very good left foot. So he's someone that can also drive in, put you on this side, turn, use his left foot and shoot. He's also someone that, sometimes we don't decide to cross the ball in to the striker, to the other players to score. So it will be an headache for defenders, because that kind of skill set, right, offers him to do many things. And I think that's a prospect. That's a prospect there. That's a prospect. So for me, I just believe that the link has come to Manchester United. I also saw some part where it was linked to Liverpool. We don't know what is what, but I think it's just nice that we talk about the boy. I feel there are prospects in the boy. Obviously, he still has to improve. We're not analyzing him for his start, as I said earlier. So he has to have to improve. But these are just my takes and opinion about him. And for me, I'm not against taking him, because when you look at the squad currently, if it happens, Mateus Cunha is on the left-hand side, and maybe you expect that Mateus Cunha would be obviously will be the starter, the way you're looking at it. Sometimes Patrick Dogo also can do a job there, depending on who the manager ends up being. Dogo also has shown that he can be a very, very good player on that side. And if you have, a Mateus Mane there, it's not bad for squad data. And it's a guy that would obviously grow. 18 years, already has Premier League experience, would get games, and grow and maybe become to the player that we want him to be. And I think there are prospects there. So guys, let me have your opinion on what I've just said about Mateus Mane, the team away from Wolves. What are your take? Do you believe Wolves obviously are going to where we expect they are going to, or where we know that they are going to? So it's an opportunity for Mane to snap up on the boy, to get the boy. So let's have your opinion on the boy. Do you think it's something we should be looking at? Do you think it's something that we shouldn't be looking at as a club? Let's have your opinion. Thank you very much for sticking with me. I remember my humble self, Shegun. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and most importantly, don't forget to share. Until I see you next time. Bye.